Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm First Alert meteorologist Leah Murphy. After a gloomy week, we are finally going to be seeing some decent sunshine as we head through the rest of the afternoon today. Waking up this morning, we're looking at mostly clear skies. We're seeing temperatures climbing up into the 40s. And then by this afternoon, we'll be getting into the lower 50s by just shortly after noontime. We'll see those highs topping off in the lower to middle 50s across the area under mostly sunny skies. Then as we head into the overnight hours, we're going to be looking at some clouds building in out ahead of our next weather system. So Saturday is going to be looking like a mostly cloudy day, but a mainly dry day. It's not till after sunset that we start to see some rainfall moving into our area, perhaps a little bit of some wet snowflakes mixing in the hill towns. Then we're going to all go over to rain as we head into late on Saturday night. We'll see rain showers tapering off early on Sunday morning and then give way to a mainly dry weather pattern for most of next week, although it'll be windy on Monday. Take a look at those temperatures, 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday and perhaps 60 by Thursday. That's a check of your forecast. Amanda has your headlines.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Amanda Callahan. Here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. A member of Springfield Sycamore Street Gang is now in custody. 44-year-old Eric Lumpkin was arrested earlier this week following a multi-month narcotics investigation with the Hamden District Attorney's SAFE Task Force. During a search of his home, officers found 700 pounds of suspected cocaine, a loaded gun, and over 2,000 grams of marijuana. Lumpkin was arraigned in Springfield District Court yesterday and is set to reappear in court next month. A new bill passed in the Massachusetts House will limit how long both migrants and homeless individuals can stay in emergency state shelters. This as the system is strained due to an influx of migrants seeking refuge in the Commonwealth. Migrants will be allowed to stay for 9 months and an additional 3 months if they're employed or enrolled in job training. Holyoke Mayor Joshua Garcia, along with other local officials, will break ground on the city's new middle school today. Last June, over $85 million in funding was approved to build a new middle school in place of the Peck School. That groundbreaking will take place at 4 p.m. today.